All right, John Duggan and Phil Egan are here with us this morning to talk us through the weekend pits and peaks, Owen. And John Duggan, you've got both Jose Mourinho down. I mean, you obviously must be in love with Jose Mourinho now. It's the perfect start.
Yeah, well,
as a Spurs fan, just in case anybody...
Yeah, anybody that hasn't followed me for any time of their life. I just look, it's a win. They hadn't won on the road since January.
It was mad.
It was mad. Dele Alli.
No away wins in the league since January. I was like, hang on a second.
She never got rid of Pochettino.
Dele Alli's brother wasn't there on the pitch at the London Stadium. It actually was Dele Alli. Played very well. Was closer to Kane in the match. They were very good, and West Ham were dreadful. But just from a positive perspective, I think what I've seen from Jose the last few days is probably what we expect from the honeymoon period. That he, it's arm around the shoulder. It's hugs to everybody.
It's low pressure as well. It's kind of a low pressure gig, in a way that Man United wasn't ever going to be low pressure.
Madrid, and because Spurs are always expected to fail in the end, and it kind of suits the equilibrium of the Tottenham gig, and Jose Mourinho seems to be quite in sync at the moment. As somebody I think wrote about it, I think at the Athletic at the weekend, that Mourinho has kept Spurs in the shop window, and the reason why Mourinho is a peak for me this week is because Harry Kane is pretty much locked into the club now for the next 18 months, which was a real concern that he would leave, in my mind, that if this thing had just continued to drift. I don't think they're going to get in the top 4, but it'll all be about next season, and Harry Kane's going to be there for the next 18 months. So you'll have like Eric Dyer coming in. I don't know about that. The jury's still out on that for me, but Mourinho, I think, will make a positive impact, and they might win the FA Cup.
I've got a sneaky suspicion that there is going to be a huge race for 4th place this season involving Tottenham Hotspur. I think once Leicester City's decline eventually happens, then it will open the doors.
Chelsea's decline.
I don't think Chelsea's decline will happen. I think
Leicester City are going to finish ahead of Chelsea this
I think
season.
Chelsea will finish 3rd. Manchester City and Liverpool.
Why would Leicester City decline?
They're not going to. They've got no reason to. They've got one of the best managers, one of the best playing squads at the minute.
Yeah, I think it's going to happen though eventually.
Why?
Injuries.
Well, injuries are pretty. I just don't. I don't.
One centre half gets injured and Jamie Vardy gets injured, then Leicester are definitely
Still
trouble.
a good team though.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think Chelsea are
exactly what they were trying to do. Still have the identity.
Yeah.
Chelsea are just building, I think.
Yeah, I think Chelsea will just beat the teams they're meant to beat, but they'll come up short in those games against rivals. Like the other night, they're just a little bit naive at times, but they're certainly they're doing better than I thought they would.
Yeah, so I'd say at this stage it's Liverpool, City, Leicester, and then that 4th spot is up for grabs. And at this point, Spurs are on 17 points, Chelsea have 26 points. So there's a 9-point gap.
It is a 9-point gap, and it's something that I think that
2/3 of the season, 9 points, easily doable.
Yeah, it is easily doable, but it's also a huge gap. If Arsenal get their house in order, they're going to be in the mix. But right now, Arsenal and Manchester United have to be looking at Spurs coming behind them.
Well, yeah,
clearly a far superior manager to the one we have installed.
Spurs level on points with Man United at the
And
minute.
actually, probably, I'm not sure is it a better squad, but there's certainly an argument to be made that Spurs players, if you get the maximum out of them, or the maximum that we've seen over the past couple of years.
Far superior first 11, right? We all agree with that.
Spurs and Man U.
Spurs, Manchester United and Arsenal. Spurs are the best first 11 by a mile.
They do, but they've got a bit of the defence is not as strong as it was.
Yeah, but the Arsenal defence is not even a defence, and
So
The thing about all this is Spurs had, whatever we think about Mourinho's appointment, Spurs have been decisive in the last 10 days. Arsenal are dithering. Spurs know what they're doing, whether it works or not. They've gone in there, they've said, OK, Pochettino, we love you, but you're gone. Mourinho, you're in now. Whereas in Man United, how long are Man United and Arsenal going to keep dithering about Unai Emery and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer?
Spurs actually are a good shout to go far in the Champions League, just given that it's Mourinho. And they're pretty much into the last 16.
Yeah.
They'll do it this week. And then over 2 legs, it probably won't be pretty to watch.
No.
But Mourinho, if the draw favours them, could get to a semi-final. Maybe, who knows?
Istanbul. Miracle of Istanbul, Part 2. I love the kind of the comfortable silence that just ensued after that.
Well, I
That'd
just
be a
wondered
horrible
about,
prospect.
I just wondered about, like, so when Liverpool played Chelsea with Rafa, was Mourinho the manager of
Yeah,
Chelsea?
ghost goal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why were his team playing such bad football when they were like a good footballing team in those games? Why were those games? Because Liverpool were inflicting their tepid brand of clingy football on everybody.
But that's just Mourinho, though, isn't it? He plays,
Was it not Benitez?
It was both. because the first leg at Stamford Bridge was awful, and then obviously the second.
That was a really so. Robin was Duff still in that team?
Robin Duff and Drogba, that was the triumvirate.
With Frank Lampard, that was like a good footballing team.
So, but they were brilliant in the league. They're blistering teams in the league. I remember them hammering Norwich. Well, we were 5-0 or whatever.
All right, so Jose, I can understand it.
Absolutely love Jose. Like you really don't know what you've got until it's gone, and that was the case with Jose Mourinho. Being on the television screens, it kind of helped us with that divorce for a while. But like, we never expected this. We never expected to be sitting here in the month of November chatting about a Jose Mourinho managed Premier League team. We should be extremely thankful that this has happened. Him coming out in front of the camera saying, "It's not about me, it's all about you, Jose. You know it's all about you. We know it's all about you. Dele Alli, the reason why he'll have a good season is because of you, even though it may have nothing to do with you. It could have been any new manager that comes in."
It is a much better job for him than the Arsenal job as well, because Arsenal is so much more of a basket case.
Yeah, like there's not much that he could have done.
Would you have taken him as the Arsenal manager?
Of course I would have.
Like,
of course I would have.
Actively 2 weeks ago, or now that you've seen Spurs do it, you're just like, God damn it, I realise now.
No, actively, you would take Jose Mourinho. It just would have been an odd marriage, given what he said previously about Arsenal.
Tottenham is a better run football club than Arsenal at the moment, isn't it?
Without question.
The Cronkies, like.
Would have been
They
interesting.
just got to a Champions League final. They're a better run football club, better results recently. The balance of power has shifted dramatically in 2 years in North London. I think everybody knows that, and I think
Arsenal might be more profitable though, and that's what Stan Kroenke cares about. He doesn't care about your Champions League final or that crap.
It's a matter of time before that changes, and before Tottenham actually becomes a more profitable organisation than Arsenal. That's what happens. That is the legacy of you being a pathetic excuse of a football club, which brings us to our pits, I think. If I may.
Go on.
If I may.
You're mid-rant. Keep it going.
Alexander Lacazette scores the equaliser at the weekend. Ashamed. I've never seen a player ashamed to score an equaliser before, but it was the emotion that sums up perfectly what Arsenal's performance was, what this season has been for Arsenal, and it is a complete and utter embarrassment, I think. You look at the statistics from the weekend, they had 61% of possession, I think, and still only managed 12 shots to Southampton's 21, which is basically...
Southampton had 21 shots.
Yeah, how they didn't win, I'll never know.
That game. They should have gone 3-1 up multiple times. I think Amy Lawrence thought in her own head in The Athletic that they had 105 shots actually to go 3-1 up. It's like Unai Emery is just waiting at the bus stop and watching the buses go by and just doesn't want to hop on anything. The dithering, the lack of thought in their play is something that you would have to scratch your head about as to how Unai Emery was ever considered for the Paris Saint-Germain job in the first place. How this guy managed to win 3 Europa Leagues in a row with Sevilla is absolutely astonishing. I know he had great help from the hierarchy in Sevilla, and it is possibly the
But is
the
it
best
cultural,
club.
possibly, that you go into England, you're learning the language, that kind of
No
thing?
football club should ever be sent out, John, to pass the ball around at the back if you have no passers in your defence. It's a very simple thing. I could play a game of Football Manager right now and I could see that Socrates' passing is whatever, 8 out of 20. So what do I not get Socrates to do? Pass the ball around at the back. Unai Emery works with this actual human being and has probably seen him miss 5-metre passes by a considerable distance. And yet Unai Emery is like, yes, this is the sort of play we should do because this is what is winning Premier Leagues at the moment. The playing out of the back, the style of football that Manchester City and Liverpool with their world-class players are committing to. Arsenal just don't have those players, and it is astonishing that he is still persisting with this. But it is at the point of no return now. It doesn't matter what he does. It doesn't matter, even if there was a transfer window open right now and he managed to sign a ton of players, the players that are already there have completely lost it at this point. And the worst part of all is that Sir Chips might be stepping down. The one voice of reason you could always hear from in Arsenal over the last few years was Sir Chips Keswick would stand up and we'd all laugh at his name and he would say something and we'd be like, oh, Sir Chips Keswick is still around. It reported the weekend that Sir Chips is in danger of actually stepping down, and that would break my heart as an Arsenal fan.
Right, like obviously that's... Did he do anything?
No, he didn't.
Grant, okay. Just wanted to make sure of that. There's a good line in Dunphy's piece today about how Ireland can qualify despite the fact that the draw is very hard, but only if we pick the right team. He's been speaking to Stephen Kenny, and Obafemi has to be in the team. I was like, does Obafemi start every game? It does not actually start every game.
Is Obafemi the new Wes?
I mean...
he started at the weekend.
Yeah, he was good at the weekend. He should have scored.
But he doesn't start every game for the under-21s.
No.
He was a sub.
Oh, for Ireland,
He was a sub. So whatever Stephen Kenny was telling him...
Problem with Obafemi is he's picking up injuries, especially hamstring injuries. And
how's he getting on now?
Well, he played against Arsenal at the weekend. He should have scored. Cedric, for some reason, decided to put air on a pass, which if he just rolled it across Obafemi, had an open goal to go 3-1 up, and that would have been game over. But they butchered that was one of many chances they butchered. But every time we think, right, here he is, ready to get a run in the team, he seems to pick up an injury. So.
We'll stay with football. Your pit is Everton.
Yeah, Marco Silva in particular, because when he came to Hull, they were hopeless, and he gave them a chance. He actually got them into a position where they could stay up. One of their home form in particular, I remember they beat Liverpool that season at the KCOM, and then when it came to the crunch, they ended up losing a game against an already relegated Sunderland. But he had enough credit in the bank that people said, yeah, I like this guy.
Yeah.
Got the Watford job, started off well, then Everton were looking for a manager. Silva was linked with them. Didn't happen. Big Sam obviously got that job, but then Watford's form dipped, and they all blamed it to do with the speculation of the Everton job. But it just turns out that he...
short term.
Yeah, he goes in and gets a few good results, but in terms of long term, it's not really working. I'll be honest, when they lost to Norwich, who before Saturday hadn't won an away game, had scored one away goal all season, which was on the opening night of the season, which incidentally was also on Merseyside, so obviously Norwich love Merseyside. But to lose 2-0 at home to Norwich, I was surprised there wasn't a statement released on Saturday evening that Marco Silva was gone. It's only a matter of time now, and Everton are back to square one. What are we doing?
With David Moyes.
Back to David Moyes, who did a brilliant job when he was there, but is he really going to be the answer? Are they going to just appoint David Moyes till the end of the season and then try and get a new...
Just get Mick McCarthy in.
Is it more structural, though, the club? Because Koeman didn't really work at Everton, and Koeman has worked in other places.
Well, Koeman worked for a while at Southampton, but...
Then he got his... well, the thing obviously that went wrong for him at Everton was the red Christmas tree.
Well, obviously, yeah. And every time you see Koeman...
Moyes wouldn't make such a mistake.
No, he wouldn't. But the problem for Everton is, yeah, they spend money on players, but they tend to buy players that you think, like the likes of Theo Walcott, Alex Iwobi, two Arsenal players who would be described as players with ability but never really lived up to it. Now, Iwobi is still very much at an earlier stage of his career, but Gylfi Sigurdsson, they went after him for months.
Yeah.
Paid 50 million for him. And
a lot of money.
Comes up with some good goals every so often, but is he really the answer?
A bad signing. Munster's lost opportunities, your pit?
Yeah, well, Neil was doing the game on a Saturday, the commentary from Thomond Park, and I was watching on television, and you're just thinking that if you're going to be contenders to win the European Cup, you can't not execute that last play, whether it's a drop goal or a try, that you've got to execute. If you're going to be European champion, or are you going to be one of these sides that has a admirable, gutsy run full of heart to a quarter-final and lose it in France or lose it in England, and they're probably going to struggle now to get out of the pool. And I think that if you want to be champions, you need to absolutely kill that. Not blaming JJ Hanrahan, who had a good game. Just something to me says there was a lack of composure in that last few minutes.
80 games since they last attempted a drop goal, or since they last notched a drop goal. Peter Jackson in the Examiner this morning are saying, I think 2017.
Would Roger have got it? Would Roger have got it?
Well, he was in a more drop goal friendly era. It's got more and more less drop goal friendly as the years have ticked on by. It's not it's something that we tend to see that much anymore in rugby, which is a bit of a shame. It's a great art. It's a great moment of excitement.
Scored a drop goal at the weekend, but it looked strange.
It does. It feels strange when it happens.
Yeah.
Since they've attempted or scored one, did you say?
Since they've scored one, but I don't think there's been too many attempts actually to kind of shout about either. So is it 80 games since Munster last dropped a goal, he says. So they said that 80 matches and counting since Munster last dropped a goal in any competition. So that is a successful one. Centre Rory Scannell at the Cardiff Arms Park in the Pro 12, March 4th, 2017.
Did I do the Jon Rahm thing?
Yeah, very quickly.
Where's the camera? This one? This camera? Look, right, folks, if you want to make money, right, you have 8 majors now in 2020 and 2021. Jon Rahm will win a major in the next stage. He's going to be more than 8-1 for all the majors. He was 18-1 for the Masters before yesterday. Back Jon Rahm to win a major. You can stop when he wins the first one. You will make money. Do you want to make money? Back Jon Rahm to win a major. He is the real deal. He is baller. He's brilliant. He's my barroom brawler friend. And Jon Rahm is going to be the next superstar in golf. If he's not already, he will win a major in 2020.
There you go. What a great way to round out the show. John, thanks very much for that.